Hello and welcome to MyFinanceTeacher on YouTube. Let's have a look again at what's happening to gold, and today is 10th of July 2017. I expect gold to bounce up over the next probably couple of weeks, and let's have a look at reasons for that. In front of you is a daily chart of gold price, and usually we consider these intermediate cycles in gold, which generally last for about half a year. Within these intermediate cycles, as I sometimes mention in my videos, there are shorter term cycles, often called daily cycles, which we can see on this chart, denoted by these crude little arrows. And there is a possibility that we've finished this recent shorter term cycle and we're about to start our next shorter term cycle. However, I don't think we have finished with this within this intermediate half a year cycle, and as this shorter term cycle which we are about to start finishes, we are possibly going to be lower at a lower price level compared to where we are right now. So I don't think it is time yet to enter full long positions in gold or gold mining shares. Let's have a look at why do I think it's time for gold to bounce, and after that we will have a look at why I think this bounce is going to be short-lived. So firstly, on the 10-day RSI, Relative Strength Index, we see that we have reached oversold levels, which means there is a tendency at these levels for the price to bounce up, as it happened over here in middle of March and in middle of May. That happened just as we reached oversold levels on the 10-day RSI. We observe the same on the RSI at the moment, hence there is a potential for price to bounce up over the next couple of weeks. Another reason for a bounce up is the fact that price is now a little bit overstretched, too far below the 20-day moving average, and with some sort of mean reversion where price moves around its 20-day moving average, we're near the time when the price should go back to the 20-day moving average and probably go a little higher than that. Yet another reason for a possible bounce up is the duration of these shorter term cycles. They last for 1.5 or 2 months, and this recent one has already been going on for a couple of months. So we are in the time band as well for this shorter term cycle to finish and the new one to start. And finally, yet another reason for bounce up in price is the support zone that we can see on this weekly chart of gold price. There is a support at around 1200, which is also a nice round number, which in itself could serve as a support zone. So price has just reached that support zone, which also indicates a potential for bounce off that support zone. I don't think this bounce is going to be a considerable one, because as I mentioned in several of my previous videos, the gold is most likely in this triangle consolidation zone, and this bounce up will likely go over the next 2 or 3 weeks to the upper trend line of this triangle consolidation zone and bounce off that, and finally, with this bounce down from the upper trend line, we will finish our half a year cycle in gold, our intermediate cycle in gold. Once gold reaches a lower level compared to where we are, which should most likely be close to this lower trend line of this triangle consolidation zone. That might be around 1180 or so. So that might happen in another several weeks, and that could be a good time to enter some long positions, because generally after a long consolidation like this, price tends to shoot upwards with some vengeance, and it should at least break the previous lows, which means it should at least go to 1320, and most likely it will go even much higher than that, again because it has been in this long-term consolidation zone. That's my expectation for gold. However, remember, this is not investment advice. Thank you for your attention, and I would appreciate comments and likes under the video.